Hey guys, I'm just wanting to give you an experience that I was going to go through anyways and review with you guys. I wanted to install Windows Server 2016. This is just kind of my first impressions. I've set it up in the past, so will be somewhat familiar, but it's been a minute, so it'll be kind of fun to see it in my home lab. I've mostly only set it up in a work environment or had it pre-set up at work, depending on what the situation was. So things I want to accomplish are looking into Active Directory, getting that set up, getting a force set up for logins and things like that. I want to get a VM, either an existing VM or a whole new VM tied into that Active Directory, depending on how things look. And then I want to see if Microsoft, if I can get Microsoft Intune stuff working, or maybe I might have to use Azure for that. I don't know yet. It's been a minute since I've had to set up a lot of that stuff. A lot of the Apple stuff was pre-set up and then predefined for what I was experiencing. So, but it's from the Azure perspective, it's pretty straightforward. You just plug and play. But from like a Microsoft Server 2016 version, I don't know how complicated that's going to be. I know with our environment, we were setting it up through VMware's Workspace. We were transitioning from um, Jamf to Workspace. I got a little bit of experience with Jamf, but we were mostly pretty heavy in Workspace. And eventually, we were actually switching from Microsoft for the authentication piece to Okta. We ran into some weird issues with FileVault forgetting your password for some reason. Um, I don't know if we fully got that ironed out. They just pop up every once in a while, mostly around update time. So we just had to go through that and get it fixed. So yeah, let's get this started. This isn't going to be instructional. This is just me going through and um, configuring it and seeing how it's going to break on me. Because that's how we do things, you know. Um, Alright, that's all set up. So I'm going to be using my Unraid server. I'm mostly just using this just because this is where my primary compute node is. Um, and it just makes it easier to work through everything. I did have VMware set up at one point, but VMware is, um, it's great, but it's kind of a pain in the butt sometimes, especially around um, NVIDIA GPUs. I just kind of got tired of it. Like they have weird licensing stuff that you have to bypass. And then also things like Mac stuff wasn't working as good. Um, I also wanted to have a good. Uh, the Unraid has a really good hard drive solution that I didn't really quite like the way that VMware was doing. Same thing with um, FreeNAS or TrueNAS. TrueNAS probably would have considered, but I ended up going with Unraid because I was familiar with it because my previous server was on it. And then to the motherboard I had for this came broken in the mail, but it was only like partially broken and only occasionally. So the PCI lanes would just forget themselves occasionally, and I wasn't familiar enough with TrueNAS's operating system to understand what was going on enough for me to troubleshoot that enough to feel comfortable with that. So that's why I ended up going with Unraid, and once I got it set up, I just didn't care to reset it all up again. Um, TrueNAS is great, especially from an enterprise perspective and security perspective. They have a very strong presence with security, which is great. Unraid's a little bit more homebrew, I feel like. Um, I need to dig into some of the security features with it, but I figured if I can get Active Directory set up, get that really robust, get that figured out, I'll just use that as my security policy because we're seeing so much security problems nowadays that we have to um, put extra layers in place for everything. So that's why I was gonna get up get up and running with this. Um, if I can get my Windows server set up, I would like to see if I can do like a cluster of it. I know Raspberry Pis are starting to get pretty inexpensive and powerful enough that you probably could get away with it. So that might be fun to do a Pi cluster of like Windows servers if it lets me, um, or get some old PCs. I might get some of those like little thin clients, get like 3 or 4 of those, and then cluster them together and have those be the nodes. Because they would be fun to do like yeah, there's a lot of fun little things that I was thinking about, and I think that'd be fun to test out and see. Same thing with Kubernetes. I would love to do like Plex, for instance. I would love to have Plex be on multiple nodes, see how that works. Especially when I'm doing updates, see if I can turn on the automation for some like the Helm charts and stuff. We were doing a lot of that while I was at work, but I was constantly just being pushed hard, really fast through stuff, so I didn't have time to like digest a lot of it. I was just constantly rolling through updates and taking what our senior staff was doing and figuring out the best way to do it and the quickest way to get it implemented and deployed. So having a little more slower approach so I can actually digest it would be nice. Um, so that's why I thought I'd just start going through some of this stuff. Um, and Reddit's VM solution's pretty straightforward and easy. The only one that's complicated is Mac OS, but someone created like an entire like application around it, so it makes it very easy um, to set up. I believe we need to have a. They usually recommend 8 cores, I believe. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And do the hyperthreading. Yes, I know these aren't numbered correctly. I just, for simplicity, I just do it. I haven't run any issues, um, so I don't care. But if it did cause me issues, then I'd focus on it more. The main thing is I just go, oh, okay, my main VM is on this cluster. My secondary VMs are in this quadrant, and this, so I can just do quadrants for each VM I have. That way I can make sure that they're doing better. Oh man, like I said. I might give it. I was doing the Azure stuff, and they recommended 32 gigs for some reason, but I don't think that's going to be necessary. I think, yeah, let's let it just go up to 32. I have enough RAM that I'm not worried about it. Um, so this does use VirtIO for its drivers, um, which is great. VirtIO is pretty straightforward. It's Red Hat drivers basically, so that's great. And then I just have a folder with all my ISO images. Um, so let's see. So I just got an evaluation 2016 version. I probably could get a non-evaluation pretty cheap. We'll see how that goes. I usually just give it a 120 gig hard drive just because it's easier that way. I don't. I'll see how much storage it actually needs, but this just makes it so that I don't have to resize it later on if that ends up happening. And then let's. I think that's basically all I need. I have my Bridge Zero networking, so that should work. Pop-up blockers, always blocking stuff. It's okay. Sometimes this thing boots too fast and I can't get to the press a key for. Yeah, see, it's sometimes too fast for you to be able to see it. But the application I'm using here though to see my VMs is called MOBA Xterm. I love it because you can have all your VMs or SSH clients um, and all the different usernames and passwords and things like that directly in there. What port it's using. Um, I've always enjoyed this application just because of how easy you can find to. Oh, that's weird. You're not seeing that pop-up window. I brought up the pop-up window, but I guess it's not there. Um, oh, cool. They're actually adding S3 bucket stuff to it, so that's good. RSH. Yeah. I love MOBA experiments. From a home lab, it's great. I don't know how secure it is from an enterprise perspective. Um, that always has me concerned, but it's open source, so I feel comfortable enough, at least in the home lab. I know at work we would occasionally have people using it. Um, what would data center and I'm assuming it won't want just the standard, but Azure Extended Networking, Host Guardian support, storage specs direct. I don't think it's gonna be anything. Network controller, containers. No, containers is supported. Okay. Yeah, I don't see anything special. That's yeah. I think that'll be fine. I'm doing the desktop experience just because it makes it easier for me to troubleshoot. I didn't grow up in command line, so this is also pretty typical with installations. With this with unrated, they don't always load the drivers. Um, oh, cool! It auto found it this time. I did the Azure server. For some reason, no, it wasn't Azure. It was I can't remember what I was installing. I couldn't find it. I had to go find the actual file folder. Um, I just do the Windows 11 drivers. I like how they do have like all the way back to like I don't know. It might be that one. Yeah, 2016 2K16. I don't know whether they. And we'll see if it detects it. If not, I'll do the Windows 11 drivers. Windows 11 drivers usually work for most things. Cool. It's detecting it, so we just need to do a new and apply for the whole thing. That's fine. So it usually will create a master boot record of everything. So as a recovery partition, that's usually what happens if it fails. This is like the boot up config. And I don't know what this third one is. That's at least how it is on the Mac OS. When you're doing homebrew stuff for Mac OS, a lot of times you'll have to actually go into the hidden partitions and edit them so that they facilitate properly. Mac homebrewing is a whole nother level of entertainment if you ever get bored. So yeah, this will just go through and complete itself. Um, I don't know if I pointed this to my SSD or not. This might be my mechanical drives. Um, one thing I've really loved about having a NAS server is my Steam library. Um, I would like to upgrade it a little bit, but what I'll usually do is I'll just have a Steam Windows instance that I install my Steam games on, and then the Steam games are installed on the network storage solution, um, which then I can that way since I have like 20 or 15 terabytes, I can just dump all my games on there, and then on my regular PC, I can um, remove games without penalty, and I can just oh yeah, I want to play this game, I can just transfer it back over, and since it's doing it like 400 megabits per second, it only takes a couple minutes to do like 100 gig games, so that's nice. What the only annoying thing is Blizzard games. They don't like the external drive. You can do some registry edits to modify that. I haven't cared to try that. Um, I just made my hard drive bigger and just installed them locally, just in case things change. Like I'm probably gonna have to upgrade to Windows 11 pretty soon. I currently have my virtual machine on Windows 10. should go look up Windows Server licenses. See if I can copy and paste this over. So I usually go to this website for licenses. Especially with some of these business licenses, but looks like they do have some Windows Server stuff. So Microsoft SQL Server projects. That could be fun to go set those up. Those are pretty cheap keys too, since it's 2016. I wonder what the difference between server and essentials. But I mean, $20 for the server key, that's pretty reasonable. That's probably what I would do. Password is password. I'll just make this my other password. Yeah, actually, this is where I got my software for Microsoft. Not Microsoft, VMware. Oh, come on, where's my search button? There we are. I'm not sure if I allocated enough RAM for this VM. Let's go check that out. VMware. Now you might have some licensing problems with doing this because they are buying them in bulk. I don't always have too much of a problem, but yeah. Workstation Pro, this is the desktop stuff, and then this is the server stuff, I believe. I don't know if this is still working or not because of the purchase by Broadcom. Broadcom is going for a subscription model, so your mileage might vary. Proxmox is a good alternative. That's free. Yeah, I guess. Why am I using so much RAM? I guess I still have Microsoft Teams still installed. I'm wondering if it's dynamically adjusting it, and it says that I have 20 gigs, but I don't. I only really have like 2 gigs, so I might need to adjust the base amount. Alright, cool. The other thing I'd like to try is setting up a network based installer, like NetBoot or something like that. So this is pretty typical. You won't see your drivers installed just yet. You have to actually go into the VirtIO disk and set that up. Oh, whoops, I didn't mean to click network. I meant to click this PC. So you can go in if you shut down the system, you can go turn off. You can go and remove these CDs afterwards. Then just open up the tool for x64 if you're doing 64-bit. I don't know why anybody would be using 32-bit at this point. Install. Cool. Yep, see, internet's working now, so that's good. We were actually setting up our Windows servers in AWS, and we set up a forest where instead of using Microsoft's update software, we would actually point it to an S3 bucket to update itself. We did that because our everything was completely locked down and didn't have internet typically, and that way we could also prevent it from updating the latest versions. So we would use an S3 bucket for the software updater, and it would just reference that every day to see if there's any new updates packages in there. We did that so we can have we had like a developer one. We had one that's in between. I think it was just int is what it was called, and then we had our prod Microsoft server. So we would install it on the non-prod. It would run system checks and things like that. See if we had any weird problems that we needed to figure out and automate, and then we would bring that to the primary one so that we can bring it online. All right, let's go ahead and get started. The first thing you're usually wanting to do is setting up a static IP. Let's see. It's been a minute since I've had to do that. Some features. Can I do it from here? System configuration, maybe? Oh, that's weird. My mouse is not showing up now. Let's just go see if we can just start it up from here. Mouse is like stuttering because I'm going through a VM through a VM. I might, once I get the remote stuff set up, I'll do that. Let's see, 172.17. Let's do I don't think I have a .12. 13 maybe? Yeah, let's do that 13. Man, whenever I get on older OS, I'm like, man, I really love the easier ease of use of older OS, because Windows 11 always just sucks, I feel like. Country and safety rules, maybe? I wonder if I can add another user, so I don't have to log in as the admin. User. Oh, that's interesting. It doesn't have an administration association. That's what I was looking for. I was trying to figure out can administer this computer, but I guess it doesn't have that. So that's interesting. I'll probably set up. I'll be setting up proper access, but I was just trying to get my RDP stuff. Cool. I'm gonna remove the admin, so it's only my username. From a security standpoint, that makes sense. Oh, this stuff always takes so long. Alright, that's going. Oh yeah, I should probably set up my IP to a static IP on my router. Do it off camera so you don't steal my IP info, because, you know, doing DDoS isn't the best. Alright, let's see if we can start a new RDP session now that's up. That's not the right name. Definitely not the right name. Okay, that's fine. I guess I will just have to log in. It's probably one of those things where, because I haven't logged in first yet, the user profile is not generated on the back end. It's cool. That's not what I wanted. There's probably something obvious I'm probably going to be missing. I'm just going by memory of Windows computers. That's not helpful. Oh, that's cool. I have a MikroTik switch, and my Ubiquiti switch is actually detecting that it's a MikroTik switch and what devices are directly connected to it. I'm also not seeing my network connection. Maybe you didn't like that static IP I just did. Oh, I wonder if maybe my user doesn't have admin privileges. I mean, that's fine. That's interesting. That's actually preferred. Freaking hate Windows. I don't always detect. Let's change this back to just a standard IP address. I'll just fix it on. This is annoying. Where's my sudo su when I need it? I guess I could have just gone to command prompt and just fixed that, but I didn't feel like it. Alright. Let's see if that's showing up now. That would explain why it wasn't allowing me to do the remote session. Still not showing up. Load a web page. Okay. YouTube. That's awesome. That's kind of working at least, so that's good enough for me. Let's see if it's showing up here. Let's try it again. Nope, doesn't like it. Alright, let's add roles. See if I can just find a quick guide. I know like 80% of this stuff. I just see if there's any recommendation. Group policy management, good. Oh, cool. Alright, let's sign out and just go back to the admin account. I think I'm gonna have to change that. Just have to look at it, figure out what's going on. Shouldn't be that hard. Hooray! Alright, group policy is checked. Install. And then you promote the server to the main controller. Select this one. See if I can spell administrator. It's always so freaking hard to think about it. See if that's the right password. Receiving the domains. That's interesting. Oh, existing. There we go. Root name. Let's name something fun. Next. Domain name. Did I misspell my... I did. Son of a bitch. Oops. Dang it. I have to redo all that configuration. Come on. I don't think I need to change any of this. Yeah, I can all say default. Install that. Yes, I know I don't have static IP. It'll be fine. not giving it internet access anyways. Yeah, once it gets some internet access, I'll give it some more of that stuff. While I wait for that, if you're doing a lot of like installations and stuff, website I love is Nanite. Start because active close. There we go. Nanite allows you to just check off a bunch of applications that you want to have installed, and then you can easily just download that. And then I usually just keep it on my network, share a copy of it if I'm doing a whole bunch of Windows machines. So I usually have a Windows 10 and a Windows 11 VM, just for ease of compatibility. I'm more familiar with Windows 10 than Windows 11. Once I get more comfortable with Windows 11, maybe we'll be okay, but so yeah, I'm probably gonna pause it here. I'll do a part 2 going over the other stuff, but hopefully this was insightful. I just pretty basic stuff, getting the initial installation started. It's the advanced config stuff that we gotta go to, and I'll have to go look at why my static IP isn't working. I'm not even showing it on my network yet for some reason, which is odd considering that it should be getting internet. Unless it's getting blocked, unless it's blocking itself. These server connections don't always like to work, so we'll go from there. Anyways, see you on the next one.